She was born in the fires of war, built not for glory, but for survival. Her name was USS Helena, a light cruiser with a heart of steel and a spirit that refused to die. They called her Machine Gun Helena, because when she opened fire, the sea itself seemed to roar. Laid down before the storm of World War II, Helena was part of America's promise. Fast, powerful, precise. She carried the 6-inch guns of the Brooklyn class and the hopes of sailors who would soon face the Pacific's darkest nights. When the war began, she was ready. December 7th, 1941, Pearl Harbor, the morning that changed history forever. The sun rose over calm Hawaiian waters, but peace died in the sky that day. Japanese planes screamed down in waves of fire, engines howling, bombs falling. Helena was moored beside the battleship Pennsylvania, her crew barely awake when the first explosions tore the harbor apart. At 7:57 a.m., a torpedo slammed into her starboard side. The first American ship hit that morning. The blast ripped through steel and flooded her compartments. Men were thrown from their bunks, alarms blared, smoke filled the decks. But even in chaos, Helena fought back. Her gunners manned their stations, firing at the diving planes overhead. The cruiser that had just been struck still barked in defiance. Dozens were killed, many wounded. But by the end of that black day, Helena was still afloat. Her hull was torn, but her spirit unbroken. In that moment, she became more than a ship. She became a survivor. Months later, fully repaired at Mare Island, she returned to the Pacific. Faster, stronger, deadlier. Her crew called her the Lucky Lady, though deep down, they knew she was lucky only because of them. Each sailor carried the memory of Pearl Harbor, the fire, the screams, the loss. They had unfinished business. By 1942, the Solomon Islands became the stage of relentless battle. Guadalcanal, Tulagi, Savo Island, names that would be etched into memory. And Helena was there for all of it. Her guns thundered across the night seas, her shells lighting the horizon. Japanese sailors feared her because she fired so fast it seemed impossible for human hands. Machine Gun Helena, they whispered. She could lay down a wall of fire that tore through anything that moved. The men aboard loved her for that. They said she had a temper, a heartbeat, a voice of her own. She shuddered when her guns roared as if alive. To them, Helena wasn't just a cruiser. She was a guardian, a comrade, a legend. Each night, the crew worked through exhaustion and fear. The decks slick with salt, the air thick with oil and gunpowder. They watched tracer rounds cut the sky like lightning. They saw ships vanish into flame, and still they fought on. At Guadalcanal, Helena fought beside the USS San Francisco and Juno in one of the most brutal naval engagements of the war. The sea turned red that night. Shells screamed overhead. Helena fired over 8,000 rounds in a single battle. Her guns glowed red-hot. Her barrels cracked from heat. But she never stopped. When other ships fell silent, Helena still spoke in fire. Her crew grew close. Farm boys, miners, teachers, mechanics, all bound by duty and survival. They joked, they prayed, they sang when they could. They fixed their ship with their own hands, patching holes with courage and sweat. Every man knew that one day their luck might end. But no one ever doubted the Helena. By mid-1943, USS Helena had earned a reputation across the Pacific. Every sailor knew her name, and every enemy feared her guns. From the Coral Sea to Kula Gulf, she was the first to arrive and the last to retreat. But legends often pay the highest price. July 5th, 1943. The night was black, the seas restless. Helena joined Task Force 68 under Admiral Ainsworth. Their mission, intercept Japanese forces delivering troops to New Georgia. It was a race against time, fought in the darkness of the Solomon Islands. The American cruisers steamed silently through the night. Helena, Honolulu, St. Louis, their wakes glowing faintly under moonlight. At 1:57 a.m., Helena's radar caught the enemy, a column of destroyers moving fast. Without hesitation, she opened fire. Her guns blazed like thunder. The sea lit up with orange flashes as Helena's 6-inch shells rained down on the Japanese ships. The gunners worked like machines. Sweat, smoke, and fire. For a moment, it seemed Helena would once again carry the night. But then, the Japanese launched their deadly reply. A volley of long lance torpedoes, fast, silent, merciless. At 2:03 a.m., one struck Helena midship. The explosion lifted her out of the water. Men were thrown across the decks. Bulkheads tore open. Before the crew could react, 2 more torpedoes hit. The great cruiser shuddered, split apart, and the lights went out. The sea swallowed her bow first, then her stern. Within minutes, Helena was gone, disappearing beneath the dark waves she had ruled for so long. Over 160 men went down with her. Hundreds more clung to the wreckage, adrift in the black water, surrounded by oil and silence. The survivors floated for hours, some for days. Sharks circled, the sun burned, the salt stung their wounds. Yet even there, they refused to give up. Rafts were tied together, prayers whispered, songs murmured through cracked lips. They waited for rescue, not knowing if anyone was coming. Against all odds, help did come. American destroyers and PT boats risked everything to reach them. One by one, they pulled the survivors from the water, exhausted, wounded, but alive. They had lost their ship, but not their spirit. The men of Helena became living proof of her legend. The ship that wouldn't die. In every retelling, the story of Helena is more than a battle report. It's a story of courage in the face of chaos, of men who fought until the sea claimed them, and a ship whose heart beat long after her hull was gone. For those who served aboard her, Helena was not just steel and rivets. She was home. Her decks held their laughter, their fear, their last words, and even now, deep beneath the waves near New Georgia, the wreck of USS Helena rests in silence, a tomb of valor, courage, and sacrifice. She may be gone, but her name endures. Machine Gun Helena, the ship that wouldn't die.